started on the recording. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Everything Theater Podcast, the podcast where we talk about
everything theater. And I got to tell you that the parameters of that are growing. And after you hear this podcast, you'll really understand why. I'm Vanita Zahn.
I'm Ellen Cribbs. Happy 2021, Vanita.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Please, I don't want it to be, picking up where 2020 ended. We're all hoping that we turn a new page and things are brighter and happier and healthier. We'll see.
Yeah, not a great start. but
No, that's right. So you know what? We're just going to jump right into it. So I got pitched. Somebody actually said, you know what? There's an Everything Theater podcast out there and we want to be part of it. And this is a unique perspective on theater. It's not the four walls or non-four walls that you might expect. It's theater of the Zoom call. I suppose you could call it that. We've got Neal Davidson with us, Travis Schweiger, and Chelsea Smith. Good to have the three of you here.
Thank you so much for having us, Benita.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here.
It's awesome to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And seriously, literally, you've created shows that really make us voyeurs, right? That's how I feel when I watch the program. I'm dropping in on a conversation that the actors are having, and you call it dramatic betweenness.
Exactly. So you hit the nail on the head. I like to say it's almost like you have tapped into a Zoom call. And so this idea of dramatic betweenness is when you embrace a Zoom call as its own medium of live performance, not theater, not film, but the play, as you said, is the call. Then the audience gets to be in between the characters. They get to kind of occupy this space that you don't have access to on stage or screen, where you can see each one of the characters, every single action and reaction, face to face with them at all times. You can't do that on a stage unless you could stand and magically have eyes in the back of your head between both actors. It's this whole new and extremely intimate way to experience theater that we stumbled upon as a necessity of creating art in isolation.
And Neal, you wrote a really great article that hopefully, if it is okay, if we could share it on our Facebook page.
I would absolutely love that. Yes, DC Metro Theater Arts. I worked with the chief editor there, John Stoltenberg, and we just published an article which defines dramatic betweenness, but also it's comprehensive. It's a good, cozy 20-minute read for anyone who's interested in creating this type of theater online. It goes into all of the conventions of acting, of directing, of writing and adapting works to Zoom, and of technical production. So it's kind of a why-to and how-to. And our goal with putting that out there was actually to empower and enable as many other artists as we possibly could to make work during these times and start really important conversations.
And it really gives breath, if you will, to the shared screen is the company, if you will, name. But is this, when you watch it, and we'll have a link, you, as the viewer, you don't get the sense that it is scripted, that at every turn you don't know, just in a phone conversation, what will happen. So how scripted is it?
This is 100% scripted. The play is tape by the Tony Emmy nominated playwright Stephen Belber, who I actually reached out to personally. There's kind of a wonderful story behind how we came about this work in class. When things in New York shut down, our master class, which is John Dapolito's master class for the working actor, all three of us were in that class, went on Zoom, and we started adapting our scenes into Zoom calls. And out of that, I thought, well, it really works, and it's new, and we should get that out to the public. And Chelsea actually played the lead in a couple of experimental productions for kind of private friends and family audiences. And we were working on tape in class, Travis and I, and Travis had kind of been working on tape a couple of years before. If you kind of want to tell the story about how I approached you and what it was like in that first kind of, hey, you want to do this scene on Zoom?
Yeah, it was definitely a great work on this about a couple of years ago. Like a few scenes from the play, and then during this time of isolation where like we need connection, we need communication and intimacy and a way to express ourselves. And Neal approached me about doing this scene, and then it went into 2 scenes, and then it went to a whole play, and then he realized that it was adaptable to Zoom, and then hey, let's do it on the shared screen. And he reached out to Stephen Belber, and we realized, all right, we need our leading lady. And Neal thought about Chelsea, and Chelsea came in and she killed it. I mean, it was the perfect person to like play the leading lady. And yeah.
You were all great. You know, it's fun to watch. Let me ask, so how would you then describe the difference between what you do versus doing a play, a regular old show, a radio show, doing that via Zoom? What's the essence difference about that?
Sure. For me, the difference is the embrace of the medium. If you think about the beginnings of television, how some of the early shows are a single camera just pointed at a stage. And those shows still exist. I mean, we have great talk shows and late night, and those variety shows existed for a very long time. But it was a completely different thing when you got to something like Citizen Kane. We're playing with multiple camera angles. And here at the Shared Screen, we play with multiple camera angles, and we shoot from different sides, and we're moving around. And I mean, this isn't a talking heads show. And by just acknowledging the fact that we're on Zoom, it actually gave us a lot of playroom. And for me, that's how I differentiate the medium. But I think also the experience of being an actor in this is it's very exciting. It's something new. It's I think Chelsea probably you've probably got some insight on that as kind of the pioneer of acting in the medium.
Thank you. Thanks, Neal. I mean, I guess too, what I would want to say in terms of the difference of this, as Neal alluded to, is really the intimacy. And I think you experienced that when you watch some of the footage, because the audience is right there. These are 3 characters who are trapped in a Zoom call together, and they're facing these denials, the subject matter, right? They're facing denials and accusations of date rape, which is very serious, very intense subject matter. And the audience is trapped right there with them. So we had found, and as Neal had said, we did these other closed productions because in starting this in our masterclass, we're doing this, but you're at this moment where you're like, is this working? I think this is really working. I think we're kind of onto something here. And we're fortunate to be working with, as we said, John Dapolito and our incredibly talented classmates. And that's why we started to, all right, well, let's extend this. Let's bring in some people we trust. We'll know they'll tell us if it's not working, right? And we were very grateful to see the feedback was not only was it working, but it was like something they had never experienced before. And at the time we did tape, I was in New York City. My family was in California. So here my parents are, on their iPad in their living room, 3,000 miles away. My brothers watched it. My oldest brother, I think, is still mad at me because, I made him feel things as he's watching it. His sister's on the screen and she's upset, right? He has to differentiate me from the character. So these are all the discoveries that we're excited about. And with Neal writing this article, and again, thank you so much for having us, because we just want to get the word out that this is theater in a different way, but theater in a new way, which is what I think art is about, is continuing to push the boundaries and push everything forward.
There's an unrelentedness, if you will, about
I love
this.
that.
I can't look away from all the action. You're all there. And it makes me as the audience, did you find this, Ellen, that you have to choose? So, we all have a different experience when we go to live theater, but this becomes very different, unique to each viewer as to how you connect with the performers that are all there in those
In
moments.
In a way, it's sort of a choose your own adventure. Like, you as an audience member get to do a little bit of live editing as you're going through it. Yes, we aren't editing things, and we use cameras and we use our blocking in ways that kind of create moments and transitions. But as an audience member, you're the one who's editing it. And you also brought up something really interesting about how it drives and doesn't let go. And part of that is not only the intensity of the subject matter, but it's that betweenness where actually this kind of face-to-face reading other people, it's what human beings are wired for. Like, we're actually kind of evolutionary set to be in conversation with someone else this close and eye to eye. So it's theater in a way that you get to process how we sort of evolved to, which is the first time that's been possible, which is also one of the reasons I wanted to write the article.
Are you able to monetize it?
So as the Shared Screen, we do our best to make this as accessible as possible. We are a nonprofit, so we're not a for-profit company. We keep our ticket prices low. We're charging $10 a ticket for this. So we're doing our best. But my goal is to, through our donations, through low ticket prices, to make conversation starting impactful work as accessible to a global audience as possible.
Travis, when you were offered this opportunity to be involved, share with us a little, and Chelsea, jump in too. What kind of a paradigm shift for you as performers did you have to embrace? Because it is different.
Absolutely.
Go for it, Trav. Yeah. No, go. I'm happy to piggyback after you.
It was definitely, well, raise the stakes and knowing that us as actors taking that leadership, taking that giant step in and taking full responsibility of, I mean, being off book 100% and working with each other, having that level of that trust fall that we have. I found it to be exhilarating, just knowing that I'm in my own space, my own set design, camera, and equipment. This liberation that can allow me to really bring so much more that I can. It's like having cinema and theater in one and more, but it's just live, and it's this wild, engaging ride where it's like moment to moment, it just makes it so intimate and so engaging. I knew this was a great experience for me to, you know, jump into and just trust that it'll be fun and exhilarating and wild and engaging.
Oh, it's that.
And Travis is definitely that.
Travis,
Absolutely.
you're not the least bit shy. Huh?
Watch the trailer to know what that means.
That's right. And then if I also may add on to that, it was interesting because I was pleasantly surprised at how quickly we were able to adapt. Because when we first discovered talk to the lens, I thought, what do you mean talk to the lens? I need to talk. I need to see, I need the eye contact. We want to pick up on the energy, right? In the theater, you're feeding off of that. And it was really interesting how quickly we realized that the other actors feel so present, right? Right now, there's 5 of us on a Zoom call. We're in all different cities, but everyone feels very present to me. And it really was then also a welcome challenge as an actor, because you have to be so grounded. As Neal said, the audience can see, and as you saw in watching it, every action, every reaction, right? There's no music we're layering under to have the tone. There's no cutaway. You can see that. And I think that really helped too, what I found in the talkbacks, with the compassion and with the empathy for these characters. I believe that they're all well-intended. I also believe that they're very flawed. They're trying to have a conversation, but they're really just showing their point of view, not necessarily listening to the other person. And because the audience can see every moment, how is the character of Amy reacting? How is she taking that in? Ooh, how am I taking that in? Again, with that dramatic betweenness, because it's being filtered through the audience and to the other characters. So, and then you just work with people you really trust and do that jump out of the plane and see what happens. And again, with it being live, keeps that element of theater alive, right? That magic of theater, knowing, wow, this is live. And with that unscripted feeling, that's a testament to Stephen Belber's work and to Neal's adaptation with these ideas that are constant throughout the play.
You know, and Ellen, we see this, literally, you know, when we are doing the Zoom conversations now, you don't always know where to put your eyes. You tend to want to look at, I want to look at Travis.
Of course.
I want to look, but you can't, can you? You have to only talk to the camera. And listen, that's my day job. I talk to a camera. I report, you know, the news. But there's something that forces your concentration in a very different way, because you are still waiting for this feedback. You're kind of getting the feedback, but you're not, because you're looking at the camera. I'm not looking down at you. That's its own betweenness, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes.
So how do you stay present with your fellow performers if you're not looking at their eyes, if you don't see the sweat and the twitch, the nostril flare?
If I can, well, first, John, that played our director, having an immense amount of trust for him and having his deep understanding of like getting into the script and like getting into the story and the characters and the nuances and the intentions and like what's really being said, having him as like our guide and being our net, and then also having each other. It's like we have this ritual before and after where we hug each other, through virtual
Zoom hug. We Zoom hug.
A Zoom like this.
Yeah.
But it demands an incredible amount of trust. I mean, knowing the script, knowing every cue, every nuance, and it's going to be new and different every single time, but we are so attuned and we're so trusting of each other. Just looking into that lens, we know what we are doing and we know what's going to happen, even if it's different, but it's just trusting and listening to each other. It just takes an incredible amount of focus.
Okay, so let's do the little nitty gritty. You send out the script, okay, and you all go, woo, okay, or right? All that stuff, and you mark up your script and you learn, and now you're going to sit down to do your first read through. Do you have a camera? Each one of you has a camera in your own locale?
Yes.
Yeah. So we only work in rehearsal on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're never together.
We have not once been together in the same place for 10 months.
And somebody goes, okay, scene 1, act 1, go.
Exactly. That for us, that moment happened in class. We use class as kind of an incubator, but when we come to a first rehearsal, you go scene 1, go. We usually show up for that first rehearsal pretty off book, and we are acting into the camera from the first moment. Like we jump at it from go. And I'm honestly, I am flattered and awed and deeply grateful that these two said yes, because just to clarify, this script is 90 minutes with no intermission, with no scene changes, with no breaks. So you come to two actors and you say, hey, do you guys want to do a 90-minute play in close-up? And they said yes. So it's very exciting.
And every time you do it, it's done live?
It is. It is completely live every single performance. We are logging on that Zoom call in front of your eyes, which, like Chelsea said, is sort of the magic moment of bringing theater and community together that way.
And it is also, if I may just answer that as well, similar to what you're saying, right? You show up to the first rehearsal, right? And you're like, okay, who is this character and who am I responding to? And in terms of of blocking the scene, it's same because you're still following the character's emotional truth, right? And so you find it's just now you have a relationship with the camera. And so I find, you know, if I'm really wanting to make a point and there's moments where Amy gets in close, and then that's where you have the director to help create these pictures to go, yes, okay, that's where we said it's this interesting hybrid, because that's where it feels cinematic because it's also very visual. So that was another thing that we found. Oh, it seems like it should be wildly different because I'm looking in this camera, I'm acting opposite a computer screen, but you're still, because you know who the character is, you're grounded in their intention, what they're about, why they're on this call, what they're doing. That helps you navigate through that, so you can still play and be messy and try different things. Does this work? Oh, no. Okay. That does. Oh, that feels weird. All of that, the joy you have out of those rehearsals for theater translate really well to this. And when you're, you know, the how, yes, you're not looking at the person, and that was kind of then the magic of this medium, is that all of that is still present. And even though I am looking in this camera, I can pick off Travis's energy and Neal's energy and have that all come together in a similar yet now different way.
And to give you sort of the fun nitty gritty of, like, we'll try something in rehearsal and our director is off screen, his camera shut off, but he's unmuted. And they'll say, oh, that angle that you just did right there, wait, go back to that. So if you're watching the screen, you would see us change and move. But like Travis said, it's a trust fall in this medium, meaning that since we can't see how we appear on screen, we're trusting our director at all times to be the one who's kind of coordinating how our three boxes appear. We're delivering our own performances, and we have to do it and move it, and he stops us and coordinates and moves it around.
And just to point for the audience who hasn't at this point seen your show, you're moving. It's not like us sitting here and having a schmooze. And Travis is very physical. There's a lot going on. How many scripts have you written and performed?
So we had 2 experimental readings that we did before Tape. Tape is our first commercial production, and we would have moved on to another one, but the September run was such a hit that we really wanted to bring it back and continue the conversation. So that's why it's coming back at the end of February, the first 2 weekends, the 5th, 6th, and 7th. And then 12th, 13th, 14th, all shows live at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Our virtual lobby will open up at 7:30. Tickets are available at www.TheSharedScreen.com/tape. I did it. There's the shameless plug everyone was waiting for.
And we're going to make sure it is on the website.
There it is.
I'm looking at the clock, Ellen. We've got a little thing that we do at the end. But Ellen, this one's you've got a challenge.
Because I've got 3 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll jump around. This is a segment we call the close-up, and it's all just personal questions about you guys. It's pretty rapid fire. So are you guys ready for your close-up?
Born for it.
Let's do it.
I love it. I love it.
I like her. She moves right in. Chelsea's right there.
I know, right? They know how to. They're like, I can do a close-up. Let's start with Neal. Neal, what was the moment in your life when you just knew you had to do theater?
I was 9 years old, and I stepped on stage to play a newsboy in Gypsy in a production at the Rockville Musical Theater.
How about you, Travis?
When I was in high school, and I just stood up and played the role of Macbeth.
Oh, wow. And Chelsea?
My first entrance was dance. So I'm a former dancer. And so I've been a dancer since I was about 5 years old. And I always loved the acting part. So I was Fritz, Clara's younger brother in the Nutcracker, and he's the brat who steals the Nutcracker and breaks it. And I was like, this is what I need to be doing.
If you each could choose one play of anything to be a next thing that the shared screen would work on and via Zoom call, what's a play out there that you would love to delve into this medium with?
Ooh. You know what? I'm going to cheat. I'm going to get out of a play. I think the way that Aaron Sorkin writes dialogue, I think Stephen Belber does some of the same thing, but it's so fast and hot and full of that sort of intense emotion. That's what I'm looking for. You know, if he wrote a Zoom To Kill a Mockingbird, adaptation, something like that.
I would second that.
Nice.
Because it's like that ethical, moral debates and like that stuff works on Zoom. It's powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, and also too, I think we're looking for new work. What's work that's going to be written specifically for this medium? So I'm excited to see why we're really trying to get the word out there. Sorry, I know this is rapid fire and I'm talking too long, but just to see what's going to come next and who are the new voices that this medium will bring out.
What is a big blooper that you guys have come across, either on Zoom doing this kind of thing or on actual live stage? Anybody got a good story?
Travis, you want to say it?
What?
Wait,
What?
am I frozen?
So Travis and I are talking, and then we're on Zoom, and then he does that, and then I look at him and he goes, "Oh, what? I thought I was frozen." Said, "I'm sorry. You thought you were frozen. So instead of moving to see if you weren't frozen, you froze, right?" And I see him just doing that. And anyway, so that's one of our things during rehearsal. We'll be in the middle of talking, and then I'll just go, I thought I was frozen.
That's awesome. And Travis kind of touched on this earlier, but I think, everybody, all actors, I did a reading recently after a while of not doing anything. And when it finished, it was kind of like, well, I turned my Zoom off and I just sat here and said, well, I just did that play. So how do you guys cope with that disconnect of not having a curtain bow, a bow to kind of go back into yourselves and an audience and people to talk to? Kind of, how do you deal with that in these weird times?
Chelsea?
Yeah, so we have a post show. One, as we said, we have the talk back with the audience, and then we have a post show meeting, and we talk, we debrief, and then what we always do, and this is maybe should we just maybe show? I don't know. We'll do a quick one. So this is some energy work, and so because we're in our space, right? So now all of a sudden I realize, well, I'm in my bedroom. I need to go to bed as me, Chelsea. How do I shake off this character? So we do this. And we all stand and I lead them and we go, and thank you, I don't need you anymore. Thank you, I don't need you anymore. Thank you, I don't need you anymore. And then we do our Zoom hug.
Yeah, I imagine you would definitely need that, especially after such an emotional piece.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Oh, fantastic. It's been wonderful talking to you guys. This has been a real joy. And I think it's just so fascinating, right, Benita, just to see all the stuff that people are doing. And, you guys have found such a great way to stay vital and interesting and, starting this new way of presenting theater and connecting and all that.
Back to the old way. Do you leave this behind, or do you believe that you will always incorporate this as we go forward?
I think it's something new. And for me, it's something that's here to stay in my exploration as an artist. I think the purpose of theater is to raise ethics and ethical questions. And I think this medium is uniquely suited to do that. I think tape does that really well. And so I will continue to explore it in tandem with the other mediums as an actor.
Yeah, I agree. And I think also so much of art is about connecting people, right? The actors to each other and the actors to an audience. And this is such an accessible way to get theater out into the world and for people to be exposed to theater. And if this past year taught us anything, is that, art is here to stay and it's vibrant and people want it, and it helps bring people together and communities together. And so I am excited to see what the future holds for theater and Zoom, and as we continue to adapt and move forward, what will happen.
Before we let you go, I got 3 minutes. I'm looking at the clock. Can you, for the audience, do a minute from tape?
Oh my.
Oh,
Are you ready?
so want to do the lead up into my entrance?
Yeah. Travis, where do we want to take it from?
Let's take it from.
When I say delete it, erase it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah, ready. Erase it.
No.
Vince,
What?
delete it.
No, I bought it from Kmart, man.
Vince.
Vince.
Vincent.
Vincent.
Hey.
Hey, Amy.
Hi, Vincent.
Wow.
Hi.
So great to see you.
You too, Vincent.
Hey.
John.
Hi, Amy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Quite the reunion.
Yeah.
John, I haven't seen you in...
Since high school, probably.
Oh, I saw you at Tracy's, right?
That's right, about 5 years ago.
I couldn't make it that time.
That's right, you were in grad school.
USC.
For film?
Yeah. Right.
Obviously, Lansing Film Festival.
Right. Yes, that is why I'm here.
That's right, Vince told me.
Right.
Maybe I'm just gonna log off and I'll just see you later, Vincent.
Wait. Maybe we should, just hang on and stay for a little, reunion. I'm pretty sure we all want to talk about stuff.
And that's a wrap. You guys are wonderful.
We just got into our first rehearsal in months. Oh man, good work, guys. We still remember the lines.
If you are the shared screen,
yeah.
The show is tape, and the essence is dramatic betweenness. Find them. It's TheSharedScreen.com. $10, the best $10 you're going to spend because it's unique. It's another world in theater. Because, Ellen, we talk about everything theater.
We do indeed. And we'll talk to you guys next time. I'm Ellen Cribbs.
I'm Benita Zahn. We want to say thanks to Neal Davidson, Chelsea Smith, Travis Schweiger. Everybody, be well.